Well, let's get straight into our top story. The latest talks to end the strike collapsing. AMCU says the strike, now in its 5th month, continues. Government had warned it would be throwing in the towel if no deal was reached by today. And the Minerals Minister Ngoako Ramathlodi then said he wished the country good luck in that situation. Well, our reporter Mbongeni Muthwa has been following developments around the strike talks in the sector. He joins us live from Pretoria. Mbongeni, so no agreement reached. Tell us how things played out today.
Well, today the day began with the meeting, of course, the make or break meeting, much anticipated. It started around 10 o'clock this morning, and we understand that the minister had told the parties, the employers and AMCU, that he was only going to take 1 hour. He was going to first listen to AMCU, give them 30 minutes to state their case, and then another 30 minutes to the employers, state their case as to where they stand right now. The question, of course, being, are they ready to reach an agreement or not? And then the meeting would be over. But it ended up going on for the whole day. It finished about an hour ago. We were, of course, watching if that meant maybe an agreement was in the pipeline or in the offing, and in the end it turned out not to be. So the meeting has deadlocked, and as the minister indicated 2 weeks ago, his role in trying to end the strike apparently has ended. Francis.
Where to now? And are there any hopeful signs? Because you've been saying that AMCU has in fact referred to the Labour Court intervention.
Well, where to from now? We posed that question. We managed to catch up with Mr. Machunjwa, the AMCU president, after the meeting ended a short while ago. We posed that question to him, and he said, first thing, they are going from tomorrow to convene meetings with their members, striking members, give them feedback about exactly what happened with the ministers' talks, get a fresh mandate from them, and also he said that there is still the Labour Court mediation, which has not been concluded so far. The parties, of course, had, when the minister came into the picture, were focusing on the minister's mediation, but now that the Labour Court is still open, and they will focus on that. In fact, at this point, we can have a listen as to exactly what he had to say, Mr. Machunjwa.
The Labour Court matter was never abandoned. It was always continuing. And the minister, since we fall under his ministry in terms of the minerals, he then take it upon himself to try his level best, of which he tried. And then therefore, even though that the agreement was never reached, that is not the end of the day. AMCU is always committed to solutions over negotiations and engagement. We believe that if this door of the minister is closed today, doesn't mean that there will be no other door or other avenues that can open for us in order to reach settlement. For now, we are going to our members, of which are the mandate givers, and give them the outcome of today's engagement, and then they will mandate us where to go from there.
Let's stick with the Labour Court that he was talking about, because reports as well that the bosses want to go to the Labour Court and have the strike certificate withdrawn. Do they have legal armoury here?
First of all, it's worth saying at this point, Francis, that one would not really have any confidence or high hopes of the Labour Court mediation succeeding where everyone has failed to actually bring about a settlement of the strike through mediation or negotiations. There were high hopes with the minister intervening, and in fact he was very confident himself, and like many others before him, including the CCMA and others, he has failed to broker a settlement. It's unthinkable, or there is nothing to suggest that the Labour Court mediation will succeed, because the positions of the two parties are just poles apart. With regards to the bosses possibly approaching the Labour Court, as from tomorrow, actually, we could see that application come through, applying for the strike certificate to be withdrawn. I think that in its own would suggest that the companies themselves don't have much confidence or expectation that the Labour Court mediation will actually bear fruit when everyone has failed. If that application comes through, either from one of the companies or Whether it's going to be a joint application, it remains to be seen. But if indeed it does come through, it's going to be absolutely fascinating, because they're going to be arguing that, from what we understand, that the strike, which started as a labor matter, a wage dispute, on which grounds the strike certificate, which makes the strike protected, was issued, has turned into something else. They say there's been loss of lives as a direct consequence of the strike. They say there is mass starvation and all manner of impact there on the Platinum Belt, which is socio-economic in nature as a consequence of the strike. That's a socio-economic matter. It's not a labor matter. And then, of course, the alleged political involvement of the EFF. They say they believe that there is enough evidence to show that the EFF is involved in the strike, and that makes the strike political. And on those grounds, they intend to ask the Labour Court to withdraw the strike certificate. If that happens, if that were to be granted, the strike obviously will be over, or it will be a way of ending it via legal means. It's going to be fascinating if that application materializes.
It will be fascinating to watch. Final question. Government has also raised concern about EFF possibly being involved, also a possible third force being involved. Are there signs of real political tension between the ANC and AMCU right now?
It's very interesting, because when we spoke to Mr. Machunjwa a short while ago, I did pose exactly that question to him. First, to respond to the allegations of political involvement by the EFF, and of course what the Secretary General of the ANC, Kwede Mantashe, has referred to as the foreign hand. Mr. Machunjwa did not address the issue of the political involvement of the EFF, but he was absolutely furious and angry about the comments of Kwede Mantashe about the foreign hand. It's presumed that Mr. Mantashe was referring to some of the technical experts that are advising AMCU in the negotiations, that maybe some of them are actually foreigners and so on. And Machunjwa was saying that Kwede Mantashe is actually being xenophobic, and he was saying that it's pathetic and it's not befitting for someone who holds this position to utter statements like that, which are xenophobic in nature. Francis.
Thank you very much for that comprehensive update. SABC reporter Mbongeni Muthwa.